Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the SLO County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 01111911.
805-543-3693 to join the program this morning. We got somebody on the phone, Jeff, that wanted to weigh in on the pajama conversation. Earlier, we were talking about how society has gotten so lazy they can't even wear clothes to get on an airplane or go to the grocery store or Walmart's. Hi, thanks for hanging on. Go ahead.
Well, I say there's first impressions are definitely a thing that society has put on us, that we have to be a certain way, dress a certain way, talk a certain way, act a certain way. And honestly, I feel like it's up to everybody's job to reach down and grab a little bit more empathy, a little bit more kindness, a little bit more compassion, to say, hey, what if that person's mother just died yesterday? They're on their way to a funeral and they could just barely get out of bed. Mm-hmm. And now they got to get on this flight and go see their mother be buried, or you just never know what somebody's going through.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Everybody needs,
but you would hope that person,
a little bit deeper.
You just hope that person had somebody that cared for them in their life, that said, hey, listen, you're going to get on a plane, you're going to be around people. Let's actually get you out of your PJs, comb your hair, and put you in something respectable.
Right. I think
we need family and friends for that.
While that empathy would be nice to have, does it exist? Is it for real?
Absolutely. I think it is if you guys spread it a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
You're on the radio, and why, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Why not spread that a little bit more?
I'm an empathetic person.
Are you kidding me?
Jeff is not.
We live in a time of nothing but snap first impression judgments. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, we get fed a headline and we treat it as the truth. Nobody looks into it.
It's not the way it is in my life with my friends and my family.
Do you wear pajamas?
100%.
Do you wear pajamas in public?
Every once in a while, yes. If I have got to go do something that I don't really want to do, but I've got to, yes. If it's going to be a long flight, I'll wear pajamas. If you don't like me, don't look at me.
Do you? Let me ask you this question: do you ever wear pajamas to the grocery store or Walmart or a store like that?
Yes. Not all the time, but yes. Depends on what's going on in my life. It depends on what kind of night I've had, what kind of work day I've had.
You couldn't just put on some pants?
Died yesterday.
You couldn't just put on some pants?
Because, well, it's my own preference. It's how it makes me feel, not how it makes you feel.
Yeah, I know, but don't you, you don't care that people are judging you?
Feel more comfortable. Absolutely not.
No, you don't. Okay.
Absolutely not.
All right, that's fair.
No.
The last time,
should I?
Last time you wore pajamas,
they don't know me. If they want to get to know me, if they want to say, hey, you want to come up and converse about it and say, hey, is there a reason like you're asking me now? Like I'm calling in and asking you guys now. I feel like if my dog just died and I delivered stillborn at full term and then my dad died the next day, I'll be damned if I give a about what I look like when I just need to go get some nutrients in my body and go to the grocery store real quick.
Let me ask you a question.
If people don't like it, don't look at it. Look the other way.
Sorry for your loss, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
The last time that you wore pajamas to the store, what was the extenuating circumstance that made it so you couldn't dress up in regular clothes, like daytime clothes?
It wasn't that I couldn't. I just didn't feel it.
But what was the extenuating?
I was much more comfortable.
What was the extenuating circumstance?
If it's late at night and I forgot something, if I needed something for the next day, it's not all the time.
But you don't think it's lowering the bar at all? But I just didn't feel like it. I mean, the other scenario where your dad died and you delivered stillborn, I understand that. Okay, I get that. But just because I feel like it, that's lowering the bar for society.
I say the society can go f itself.
Well, that's not empathetic. That's not an empathetic point of view at all.
If they're going to judge me that way,
you hate society so much that it's your way of sticking the middle finger up to society. That's what I take away from it.
Certain people in society that want to be so quick to judge, not all society, just the ones that want to be so quick to judge you as a person and think that you're low. I could be a lawyer, I could be a doctor, I could be any of those people that want to choose to wear their pajamas to the grocery store. Maybe if you're that concerned about the bar of society, why don't you approach them and ask them?
Here's the thing with the lawyer and the doctor. They have clients, right? If my lawyer was out shopping at the store wearing pajamas and I ran into them, I'd be like, whoa, what's going on? They have a certain sense of standard that they have to hold themselves to as professional people that are meant to be respected. I guarantee you no doctor or lawyer or whatever professional that has clients is like, I'm good to wear the pajamas to the store because F society. You're going to run into your clients. It's a given. So then you have to be presentable in that instance.
Yeah, it's a very interesting concept, and I don't know. I guess I feel like there's just more important things that we could be judging people on whether they wear pajamas.
There is, but we don't have the time. Nobody has the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the concept, and definitely gives me something to think about. And I'm not closed to that kind of thing, but I just think we all should be a little bit less judgy. I don't think it's lowering. I just don't think it's lowering the bar. I just think it's people should not be so judgy.
Just so I know, what firm do you practice law with?
I'm not a lawyer. I'm saying, what if? I'm actually an X-ray technician and medical assistant at an
then you
urgent
can
care.
get away with wearing scrubs wherever you want.
Yeah, your life is scrubs.
Well, there is that.
You should have led with that.
If I had your job, I'd only wear scrubs all the time.
Well, thank you for listening to KZOZ.
Maybe that has something to do with it.
And thanks for calling in. Appreciate you.
Hey, thank you, guys. Have a good day.
See, we can be nice, even though we disagree. Oh, by the way, on the 805 beer text lines.
Nobody's being nice on the 805 beer text line right now.
On the 805 beer text lines, maybe we should. I mean, there's so many things.
I was just going to say there is a message here that this woman was trying to convey, and I'm afraid it's going to get lost, and that is you don't always know what people are going through. So before you judge and be critical of somebody, before you go off on somebody, just realize, you don't know what they've been going through. You don't know what's happened in the last 24 hours, week of their life. And, just to be thoughtful of that, because, take it from a guy that's put his foot in his mouth too many times. It's not a bad way to go.
Well, I mean, the thing is, okay, it's not like I go and shame people for wearing PJs. It's just what it is. You can do whatever. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want to do. That's no problem. But I am going to reserve the right to pass judgment because that's what we do as human beings. With human nature, human beings pass judgment. For example, where was it? Rhonda, Trump hater Rhonda writes in. She says, although I agree that you don't know what others might be dealing with, I believe the majority of public PJing wearing people are just being lazy. Her and I share that opinion. I mean, because if it was just an isolated incident where you saw every once in a while, one in like 10,000 people wearing PJs out, your mind would go to that area where you're like, oh man, I have no idea what that person's dealing with. I hope everything's okay with them. And you say it. But when it's 1 in 5, not everybody, 20% of people aren't going through hard times. And that's where the problem lies. So when you have 20% of people wearing PJs out at a store or in public or on a flight or doing all this stuff, then you're like, all right. Then your mind automatically shapes that narrative. There's nothing you can do to control that. And yes, you can say, you can be empathetic and all that stuff, but on the other side, it's like if you see it happening more often than not, then your mind goes to where mine and Trump hater Rhonda, the do-gooder, says. She's got do-gooder in her name. And she says, I believe the majority of public PJing wearing people are being lazy. I agree with that. Peas in a water bottle on road trips writes in. Funny story here that I'll share with you. I can't imagine Hal Swayze shopping in PJs. Ha ha. It's interesting that you say that, because one day I caught Hal in the wild, and Hal, it was like 8:30 in the morning or something like that. And I had to scramble to go run and get a gift for my daughter to give to her little buddy at school, because they have this like buddy program, and her little buddy bought her a gift and she didn't have a gift. So I ran to Rite Aid real quick, and I run into Rite Aid, I grab my stuff, the stuffed animal or whatever it was. And I come walking out, and it was Christmas time. That's why they were giving the gift exchange. And my daughter didn't know that she was going to have to do that. So it was an emergency. And I run in, I get the thing, I walk out. And, or as I'm walking in, I should say, as I'm walking in, Hal's walking out. And I said, hey, Hal, how's it going? And he was 8:30 in the morning. He was dressed up in like a polo and some slacks. 8:30 in the morning, because he was going into Rite Aid. He had, this was years ago. I just started working with him on the podcast. He had a COVID test in his hand. and I go, Hal, how's it going? You know, what's going on? And then he took the COVID test and like kind of held it back behind his back a little bit, because he understands the perception is, he doesn't want to be judged. So he dressed up to go get a COVID test because he thought he had COVID.
Well, he didn't even dress up. He just put on clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's we're not saying you need to get
right. It wasn't suit and tie.
Pants. No,
but he looked respectable
pajamas
at 8:30 in the morning, and he was dealing with a cold that was harsh enough to where he needed to grab a test to see if it was COVID. So he was going through some stuff and still had the wherewithal to get dressed up. Thank you for bringing it up, peas in a water bottle on road trips. Because I totally forgot about that time, and that was a perfect example of somebody who holds himself with a certain amount of respect enough to make sure that he doesn't just lazily saunter on down to the store when he's not feeling good, and make sure to at least put his best foot forward the best he can and look respectable.
I won't even leave the house when I know I'm going through a drive-through with my slippers on, because I just know the one time I do it, something is going to happen. The car is going to break down, and I'm going to be standing out in the middle of God knows wherever with my slippers on. And I'm going to be pissed at myself that I couldn't take 2 minutes to just put some shoes on and some pants.
Despicable Mike writes in, he says, I'm going to put PJs on today and go to work and see what kind of reactions I get. I'll film those, so I'll share them with you.
Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 01111 911.